morning, live. It's Cliff Yates, yes. Vertical mode YouTube, which I like to do. Why? Two different reasons. That doesn't sound right. One of the reasons is I leave the mistakes in, just like that. It's not over edited, over polished. It's raw and real. I like to go raw and real because really that's the new craving by all of us. What the hell is real? What is fake? With all this AI generated content, sometimes it's hard to differentiate what the hell is real, what is fake, because we want real, true, authenticity, don't like fake, because sometimes we find out later we were duped. Holy shit, that wasn't even real. And AI is getting so good, sometimes it's hard to differentiate what is real and what is fake. Now, sometimes it's obviously fake, it's entertaining, creative, and we can appreciate it. But in other areas, we get duped. Maybe when we're trying to gain information on what's going on, a certain subject matter, we find out it was BS, we don't like it. It can piss us off. We want real authenticity. Another reason that I like to go live in the vertical mode of YouTube is it shows up in the shorts feed and I get to connect with people who aren't already subscribed to the channel. Hey, and this is my channel. It is all positivity, intentional self-improvement, personal growth. Hey, if that resonates with you, you are in the right place. Subscribe to the channel. Costs you nothing. Helps me out in the channel because it'll grow. Because then YouTube says, oh, wait a minute, people are interacting with this show. There must be some value here. I'm going to show it to more people who are into self-improvement, personal growth, how we can get better today in every way. Hey, you and I, we can do it. We can claim our power. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. Waiting for more people to jump on board this beautiful Sunday morning. This is how I start my week. I start my weeks on Sunday, right? Sunday to Saturday for me. I know most people go Monday through Friday because that's the traditional work week. I've never been in the traditional work week because I was a cop for 35 years. So I didn't have traditional holidays, traditional days off. As a matter of fact, I used to love my Mondays and Tuesdays off, my Wednesdays and Thursdays off, right? Because I could interact, do my business, go to the bank, do all the things that I needed to do when most other people were working. I wasn't in the overcrowded space of a weekend where people are trying to get things done. Thanks for checking in. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I repeat that on occasion just because I know people jump in and out of the shorts feed when they see me going live in the vertical mode. Good morning. How are you? Dodger F5. Good morning. You know what I want to talk to you about today? I want to talk to you about our aspirational self. This really hit close to home. I was ingesting some positive things this morning. Some motivational stuff, some inspirational, some self-improvement stuff. And the two guys I was watching, they were talking about our aspirational self, right? And I was thinking way back, you know how it is when you know when you're meant for more, you know there's more left in your life, you're driven to do more, to become more, but you're not around the right people. You can be around family, friends, acquaintances. Why do you want to do that? You have a good life the way it is. Why are you driven to do other things? And then you either get in the room or you get around other people and you think, whoa, okay, now I'm around, these are my people. I'm around the right people. And sometimes I look back and I think, holy shit, how did I go forward and do what I did? Because I really didn't have anybody around me that was a mastermind, which is two more people getting together, like-minded in aspirations and sharing ideas that can make us all better. And we kind of form a separate brain, not in a group think kind of way, but just in sharing similar ideas, aspirations, intentions. We all become better. Oh, I've got to acknowledge some people jumping on board here. I have a cancer, please shout out. Hey, my prayers are for you, Laura Armana. Hey, you look untrustworthy. Hey, I appreciate the content. I appreciate you commenting. Listen, I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm just sharing information that I was learning about today. Aspirational stuff, our aspirational self. I can go back to my upstate New York days at my little small town of Caledonia, New York, and I had aspirations, right? For various reasons. I wanted to go to the city. I wanted to go to a large metropolitan police agency. I was applying at New York City. I was applying at Houston, Dallas, and Los Angeles. And believe me, I was not around like-minded people. As a matter of fact, I had worked for a small sheriff's department, upstate New York, 20 deputy sheriffs. And everybody around me was like, you've been here 5 years. You have a great rep. Why do you want to leave here? You're doing great. You got your family, your friends around here. I had an aspirational self that I was answering to, and it was hard to relate to people that were not on the same vibration and frequency. I had one person who, now I think about it, she was probably 70 plus. It was my grandmother. When I shared my intentions, hey, I'm thinking about taking a job with the LA Sheriff's Department in California. One person, my grandmother, oh, hon, you're going to love it. You're going to love California. It's so wonderful. You're going to have all these opportunities. You're going to see these things. And California is just great. You know that I lived in San Diego and La Jolla and Los Angeles. And then of course, my mom was born in San Diego, and I really hadn't taken notice of that at the time. Here I was 25 years old. So here was my grandmother. That was my first mastermind, I guess. I'm in a room with, hey, now here's my people. My grandmother is saying, go, do it. You're going to love California. So you never know who that person is going to be. Let me check who we got here. Hi, everybody. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hit that button. Especially Sarah Blurry 2972. All right, you want to see if I'm trustworthy? You hit that like button, damn it, and you hit the subscribe button. I am talking this morning about our aspirational selves, and sometimes if we're not around like-minded people, that can be kind of really blunting to what we want and are trying to do. But if you get around, if you get that group, if you get in that room of people where the light goes off and you say, damn it, these are my people, I'm in the right place. I was driven. Luckily, my grandmother supported me. You'll love it. Go to California. But it was a hard decision to make when family, friends are like supporting, showing love and support. Hey, you got a great life here. What are you doing? Why do you want to do this? You know, but people, friends, family, and acquaintances, they don't know what's in our heart. They don't know the drives we have, the ambitions, the intentions that we have. And so we have to keep that in mind, that sometimes people are saying and doing things out of good intentions for us. But we know inside our aspirational self is dying to get out there. There must be other people with like-minded intentions, ambitions, and desires. And once we get in the room with those kinds of people, then lights goes off and we realize, shit, we're in the right place. I was on the right track to begin with. But I went forward. I'm so happy that I did. It was the hardest thing to drive away. I remember that day I drove away from my last group of friends I was saying goodbye to, and I'm looking in the rearview mirror and they're waving goodbye. There was 3 of them. They had just given me a nice keychain. Don't forget us. You know, and I was trying to justify it in my head. I'm only going to do this for a year and check it out to grow a little bit. Then I'm coming back, you know. But it didn't happen. I spent 35 years in California and Los Angeles, and the return on my decision, my aspirational self, was astronomical. Thank God I made that decision and I stuck with it. So it's in those hard decisions that we make that's going to make the best life for us. And everybody else is going to benefit from it. Believe me, the more you become, the better you become yourself, the more people around you, family, friends, they're going to benefit from your growth. So don't stifle yourself. Show up with your aspirational self no matter where you are. And it just seems like in those hard decision times that it's right before there's a great triumphant growth in our life. Just when it's getting toughest, right? It's darkest before the sunrise, right? That's when it's the most dark. Right before the best light shows up. Right before our best growth in life happens, we're probably going to be maybe in a dark place, maybe the darkest place. And so if you're in that place, you can actually be thankful and you can go forward with great faith, knowing, okay, something great is coming. I know for billions of years, every single time so far, and has never stopped, spring follows winter. If I'm in a winter in my life, then I can be solid in my faith. Spring's coming. Yeah, I'm in the winter right now. You know the saying, if you're going through hell, keep on going. Fast forward, I'm in the LA Sheriff's Department. Now I'm into a dark space I created myself. And I'm in a frustrated anger position. Had been with the department for over 10 years. Made a decision out of frustration, anger, which can fuel you for a certain amount of time. If you're angry, frustrated, hey, that causes you to have energy. And so I said, damn it, I'm going to get my real estate license. Screw this career. I'm going to get my real estate license, sell real estate. And so that's what I did. While I was a deputy sheriff, I got my real estate license in California. And then my broker, thank you, Hovik Damagian, my Armenian broker, he sent me to sales training. Well, Cliff, I'm going to send you some sales training. We're paying for it. It's free to you. And then I got in the room with Jim Rohn. He was giving the seminar in Burbank, California, and it was supposed to be sales training. It turned out to be life training. Just little things that he was saying. When you change, things will start to change for you. Think about your grandparents. Don't you wish there was more pictures of them around? Maybe some home movies. Take lots of pictures. Leave a legacy for your grandchildren. It was life-changing, life principles that I took from that training, and I took that back, and I took it to heart. And that got me on the road to self-improvement, personal growth, and I've never looked back, which is why I'm here with you today. Let me acknowledge you, all right, because you're an important person. Hi, everybody. How are you? Kenneth at Haller, 8334. Hi, how are you? Dodger F5. Oh, man, you're awesome. You guys are awesome. Thanks for checking in here. I know people jump in and out of the shorts feed, so if you're just jumping in and discovering me, hey, subscribe to the channel. You're in the right place. You can count yourself as part of a mastermind, aspirational group. You are in the right room. And I knew when I had aspirations, after I had gone to that Jim Rohn seminar, that led me to Tony Robbins. And I got excited that I was going to be going to a Tony Robbins seminar in Anaheim, California. I was going to be walking the hot coals, right? I had read his books, Awaken the Giant Within. I had taken his course, the 30-day course, and I was excited, and I was sharing. I had spent the money for the seminar, 1992, Anaheim, California. And I remember sharing it with my deputy sheriff, compadres and friends. And they were like, what are you doing? $600 to hear somebody talk? Hey, I'll talk to you for free. What the hell are you doing? I had no positive feedback of what I was doing. And, I probably did question myself a little bit, but that didn't stop me. I had paid the money already, $600 to go to the seminar. So I show up at the seminar in Anaheim, and then it was like, whoa, light goes off. Here's 2,000 people, like-minded, aspirational selves have showed up. I am connecting with these people from so many different cultures. Here I was, LA's comedy cop, and I'm in this group of 2,000 people at the Tony Robbins seminar, and this Unlimited Power Within seminar, the UPW, that he still does to this day, that I've done twice now. And because my wife, when I got together with her, she said, if you ever want to go to a live seminar again, I want to go with you. And so in 2019, we did it. So what I go, 1992, oh my God, 2002, 20 some years later, I go to the seminar again. But the thing is, I got around like-minded people. The light went off and I go, oh, these are my people, right? I just remember meeting a lady from San Francisco, and she goes, oh, I have 6 hairstyling salons in San Francisco area, and they're all closed. I brought every one of my employees here. I paid for them to come here because I know the return on investment I'm going to get from them attending this and opening up their eyes of possibility is going to have a great impact on my companies. My salons are going to benefit from me paying for all my people to get here, to be on like-minded, to be on the same wavelength, to be on the same vibration. And man, so you can get around your people, your group. And if you have an aspirational self, and I have a suspicion most people I think do, most people, I think it's indwelled within them to have an aspirational self if they'll take action on it. That's going to be the difference. To show up with your aspirational self is going to require a little bit of fortitude, and it's going to help to get around like-minded people like right here on my channel. You're in the right place. Guaranteed. Subscribe, follow, like, leave a comment. It's going to be appreciated. You are in the right place. But a lot of times we don't. I don't show up as my aspirational self, right? I show up as my mediocre self because that's the easy road. Hey, I'm here, I'm present, I'm doing the thing, but I'm not being my aspirational self. And so we can show up as our aspirational self. Last night, I went on a date night with myself, right? I'm in the end, really, of an unwanted divorce, learning to have my identity is no longer as a couple, as our power couple. I am now a solo, and so I have to show up as my aspirational self with kind of a new identity. So last night for me was a date night with myself, dinner and a movie. And so I went to a place that I normally go, waterfront here in Melbourne, Frigates. What a great place, right on the water. And the big bar is a great place to have dinner at the bar. I know the bartender's there, and so I can have a little conversation. But I decided, when I went into that restaurant, I decided I was going to show up as my aspirational self. With intention, I showed up confident in starting a conversation with the people around me. The people around me, and maybe they felt it. Maybe there was some social proof, right? They saw me interacting with the bartenders. They saw me talking with them. And then when I interacted with them, casual conversation, they reciprocated. And I met a couple. I swear to God, by the time we got done talking, it was as if we knew each other for 30 years. Buck and Amanda, and they were originally from up north, New Jersey, and now they live in Satellite Beach. And we were there having dinner at the bar, and we were talking about their 3 kids. I was talking about my 3 stepkids, and we just had a great interaction, right? At the same time, I meet Rafi sitting next to me on my left. I took notice that he had an old-fashioned. I could tell by the way the glass, the rock ice, and he had a rind of lemon in it. I go, oh, you having an old-fashioned? He goes, yeah, that's my drink. Oh, yeah. As I got, this guy, Rafi, is an aerospace engineer, originally from Pasadena. Automatically, we clicked. Obviously, I lived in California for 35 years. As a matter of fact, I lived in Pasadena. We had something in common, which I immediately found out, right? Because I found out the information by engaging him in conversation. Him and I talked, and we related on so many different levels. He actually was from Altadena, which is adjacent to Pasadena. If you remember the fires last year, Altadena pretty much burned to the ground. And so my house in Pasadena was 2 miles from Altadena. And his family's house burned to the ground, which really was the impetus for him to move to Florida and to be around more aerospace engineering jobs, which he said he couldn't find. But so here I connected with these 2 groups of people. I got Buck and Amanda over here that we are really connecting. I started talking about my stand-up comedy, and then their son, one of the 3, is a stand-up comedian. And so we got talking about these things, and we connected. But I came as my aspirational self instead of what normally our body likes to do, homeostasis, show up as our mediocre self because it's comfortable, it's lukewarm, and our body tells us to stay in that pocket because it is comfortable, right? Our subconscious always wants us to stay alive, to keep comfortable. So when we start to branch out, try new things, something uncomfortable, our subconscious says, hey, wait, what are you doing? Stop what you're doing. We are good right here. You do not need to be trying new things. You do not need to be growing. You do not need to be expanding your reach. That's what our subconscious tells us because it's programmed to keep us alive, keep us comfortable, and make sure we don't step out of the cave so we get killed. But we have to override that programming that's been in us for thousands and thousands of years for our own protection. But now we can override that to become more, right? To get more. But that shouldn't be the intention, really, to get more. But it's great. It's great. Set a goal. You want to make $1 million. This next year, you want to make $1 million. That's a great goal. But not for the money. It's for what you will have to become in achieving it. There's only one way you're going to be getting $1 million if you bring that value to the marketplace. Not as a person. As a person, God loves you, your family loves you, your friends love you. You are already loved. So your value is already there. But to the marketplace, to get money, we have to bring value to the marketplace, which is a whole different thing. I've got to acknowledge you. I saw Jim Rohn live, everybody. He's the real deal. I mean, I just, now that I read his books and I see videos of him online, and I'm so happy that I stumbled across him, 35 years ago. My broker sends me to Jim Rohn when he was alive, and he's passed on just a few years ago. And that's who Tony Robbins worked for. So listen, these guys are the real deal. Everybody says it's, rah-rah, bullshit, la-la land. But so I met Jim Rohn at the seminar. There was probably only 50 of us in the room. And then I actually got to meet Tony Robbins. I had gone to the seminar in 1992, Anaheim, and then I found myself working the Universal City Walk, right, in Hollywood, because we have a sheriff substation there. So I'm walking on the City Walk, and there's 6'6", 6'7" Tony Robbins walking through the crowd. I went right to him because I'm in uniform. And as a cop, we get a little bit of privilege, right? So I just walked right up to him. Tony Robbins, Cliff Yates, I went to your seminar in 1992. This was a few years later. This is 1996, it was 4 years later. He introduced me to his son, and we had a little bit of a conversation. And then I ended up working with Jeff Smith, a fellow deputy sheriff in Glendora. We worked San Dimas Sheriff Station, but he was from Glendora. And he said, Tony Robbins was in my class. He was in my class in Glendora High School. And so that gives me, at the time, a little proximity to know, hey, these guys are not fake. The stories they were telling were real. When Tony Robbins talks about growing up in Glendora, he grew up in Glendora. He went to Glendora High School. I met him on the Universal City Walk, face to face, eye to eye. He's the real deal. Even today, a lot of people don't even know who Tony Robbins is, but I know he is the real deal. I went to the in-person, I walked the hot coals, everybody. If you get a chance to go to the seminar, you should go in person. He does a lot of it online now with his virtual studio where he can have tens of thousands on all the screens. But to be there in person, to actually get your bare feet on those hot coals and you walk across those coals with no burning whatsoever, to do that in person, there's no greater thrill, joy, impactful way to show up as your aspirational self. What an honor to see him speak. It really was. I would empty my pockets for 10 minutes with Jim. Yeah, it's funny you say that. The people who are kind of critical of me going to that Tony Robbins seminar, my first one in 1992, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We're growing here, all right? We're part of a mastermind, you and me. I paid my $600 for that seminar. I tell you, if I hadn't gone to that seminar for $600, there's no way I would have ever aspired or achieved my next level of promotion, which was sergeant, which at top step sergeant, it's $1,000 more each month than my current position. So $600 I spent ended up giving me an extra $1,000 a month for the next 10, 15 years that I was in the sheriff's department. So how much was that $600 worth, right? It allowed me to write a book, get it up on Amazon, to have the aspirational drive to how can I do this? How can I narrate my own book? How can I sell my own book on Amazon? Can I get it in paperback? Can I do this? Can I do this? Can I actually produce my own comedy show at the Roxy on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood and have that become profitable? I would have never done any of those things if I hadn't got off the limiting beliefs that I had through going to the seminar. And so how much was that $600 worth to me? I swear I could probably calculate that I've made $500,000 from the $600 that I spent on the Tony Robbins seminar. And yet people were poo-pooing me spending money to go hear someone speak. It was much more than that. It was also to get around like-minded people, right? We were in a mastermind together. So listen, you would spend all the money in your pocket to be around Jim Rohn. That would be the best investment that you ever make. The best damn investment you're ever going to make is in yourself. Take anything you make and put it right back into yourself, because by you becoming more, that's going to bring value not only to yourself, but the people around you, your family, your friends, your mother, your father, son, daughter. And it's going to bring value to the marketplace. That's why some millionaires have lost everything and made it back over and over again, because they still have the same value that you're bringing to the marketplace. Once they get to that point where they have millionaire mindsets and thinking in a way of creating businesses, they can actually lose everything and start over again. Some of them are even thankful that that happened. They're glad they got to start all over again. Hey, fire. Who's giving me the fire? You have lived a life of crap and look like a dork. Amen. All right. It's always good to get some negative slime thrown on me. It's always good. That's the thing that's going to make you practice going forward, regardless of the slime that someone may throw on you. Go forth anyways. And if you're not getting any hate or slime thrown on you, you're not making any impact anywhere in the world. It's so easy. It would be easy for me to not be creating content, putting myself out there, opening myself up for sliming. But that's okay, because I get too much more back in relationships, growing this platform, positive feedback, connecting with other people. And in many cases, it ended up being connecting in person, lifelong friendships. And so thanks for the slime. Hey, at least you have to like the slime. The people that are throwing slime on you have consumed your content. They've taken the time and effort to make a comment, even if it's a negative one. They're interacting with you. Hey, so thank you. Throw more slime. Keep it coming. It tells YouTube that people are interacting with the channel. You're helping me out. All the slimers, you're helping me. All right, I love it. Now you're just an old man. All right, how are you? Phil Collins 420, more slime. I love it. Oh, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. God bless you, my brother. God bless you. Getting some slime this morning. That's okay. I went a few days without any slime. And I was questioning myself. I was thinking, maybe I'm just coming forth with such positivity that that's why I'm not getting any slime or any crap thrown my way. But now I got some this morning. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. What I did for a living, I was a cop for 35 years. First, I was a cop in upstate New York, small town, small county sheriff's department. But I had aspirations to be an entertainer, to be in the acting and comedy fields. And I used to do stand-up comedy in my classrooms, in high school. But I would, memorize routines I saw on TV. And then I ended up moving to Los Angeles, becoming an LA County deputy sheriff. And then while I was stuck in the jails, I decided to get back into comedy. I had the time now. And so I took some writing classes and I learned, oh shit, you have to write your own material. If you're going to do stand-up, you don't take other people's shit as I did in high school. You have to write your own material. So I started writing comedy, taking comedy classes, and then going to open mic nights. And I did that for while I was in the jail. And then when I got into patrol, I didn't have the time to do that anymore. So I ended up working South Central Los Angeles, a lot of gang shootings, crazy stuff going on. And then I moved around the department, ended up working West Hollywood, being around entertainment again. I got back into stand-up comedy, started taking more classes, started doing some acting jobs, just small stuff, background work. My first acting teacher was Judy Kerr. You can check her out. Judy Kerr was my first acting teacher, and she was the dialogue coach on the Seinfeld show. And so through my connection with her, I started doing extra work on Seinfeld. And so I would frequently be in the coffee shop in the background. I really liked that. Got to meet Jerry and talk with him. And so, I mean, that was just, I really loved, so I loved doing comedy, but I continued in my police work with the LA Sheriff's Department. And along the way, I got involved in the self-improvement, personal growth space, got my real estate license, but that allowed me, once I got through the Tony Robbins training, and then I was taking more comedy classes. I took a comedy course from Judy Carter, who is still on the air today. She's on Instagram. She's still teaching people how to make money being funny, how to make money in the comedy field. You can do it if you want. And so I started doing that. So I had so many people from the Sheriff's Department following me. They would come to see me at the comedy clubs doing open mic nights. So I got like 3 to 5 minutes. But here they were getting babysitters, taking the night off to come see me. And they would have to sit through 10, 11 comedians to see me do my 5 minutes. And so I started getting more and more minutes. And I started creating relationships with headlining comedians. And my comedy club, my home comedy club was the Ice House in Pasadena, which I performed at for many, many years. I love, if you've never been to the Ice House, it's such an intimate, wonderful comedy club. And I performed at the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory and the Improv in Hollywood. But I learned how to, I had an epiphany. Wait a minute. I can rent my own theater and I can have people pay me to come see me. And at the time, I didn't have enough time to be the headliner. So what I did was I rented a theater out and then I sold tickets to my friends, my coworkers in the LA Sheriff's Department, people I knew. And then I hired my own headliner. So then I had contact with these comedy clubs, Ice House, Comedy Store, Improv, Laugh Factory. And so I made friends with these headliners that says, hey, I'm doing a show, I need a headliner. Would you do it for $500? $500. So all of the comedy clubs around Los Angeles are called showcase clubs. What that means is people who do comedy at these showcase clubs, they don't get paid anything or hardly, maybe $50. Because they know Eddie Murphy's coming in, Tim Allen's coming in, Andrew Dice Clay's coming in. I'm aging myself. So they don't need to pay anybody to be performing there. Everybody comes in there to try out their material, and the tourists come there with the hope of seeing these star-studded comedians that just happen to drop in, right, and do a comedy set. And so when I got in contact with these headliners and I would offer them paying jobs, they were like, what? Of course I'll do it. $500. If they were in the comedy circuit around the country, that isn't a lot of money. But around LA, that was a lot of money because people weren't hiring people to do sets and getting paid good money because they were mostly showcase clubs. And so then I developed relationships with those headliners. And so I was one of the few people that put money in their pocket. And so they would reciprocate and say, Cliff, I'm going on the road. I'm going to be doing a gig here. Do you want to be my opener? Do I want to be your... Now I found myself being able to perform in some of the top comedy clubs around the country because of the relationships that I built. Hey, how about it? Do you drive with the car window down to keep your hair like that? Yeah, well, how'd you know? Married with Paranormal. Good morning. I love the sunshine. I don't know if you saw some of the... Hey, Robert Depur. Hey. All right, you know what I did for a living? I was a cop by day. I was a comedian by night. Around LA, I became known as LA's comedy cop, right? Cop by day, comedian by night. That was my niche. Channel 9, local Los Angeles channel, did a little expose on me. They filmed me walking the City Walk beat with my partner, Rick Martinez. And so they filmed me in a sheriff's uniform doing my job. And then they came and filmed me at the Comedy Store. And so they did a whole expose on me being a cop by day, comedian by night. It was kind of a unique niche. But in 2013, I retired from the Sheriff's Department, continued doing comedy, but we ended up moving to Florida, beautiful free Florida here in 2020, and I haven't been doing stand-up. I really been focusing on my podcast and personal growth and health coaching and getting better and better every day in every way. And so you're in the right place. If you're an aspirational person, you aspire to more, you want to become more, be more, then you're in the right room. You're in a mastermind of people who are like-minded. You have found your people, so subscribe to the channel. I go live YouTube vertical for a couple different reasons, raw and real, no editing, all the mistakes stay in. Number two, shows up in the shorts feed so I connect with people who aren't already subscribed and they go, hey, wait a minute, maybe this is stuff I would like to consume in the future. So you're in the right place. And hey, got some great slime today, which I love. Hey, you're not going to learn and grow from an easy crowd. People who are always supportive and loving and kind to you. You're going to learn and grow from the people who fight back, push back, throw some slime on you. That's the only way we're going to learn to pare the slime away, to duck and roll. And so I appreciate the slime throwers this morning. Good to have you checking in the channel, everybody. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit that button. It's free, but it tells YouTube people are interacting with the channel, and they'll show it to other people who are interested in self-improvement, self-growth, right? Doing more, becoming more. No greater joy than to step out, learn something new. It's one of the secrets to life. And if you're one of those aspirational people who want to show up as your aspirational self, and you're not getting around the right people in the right rooms who show you support, then you're in the right place right here, right now. I am going to continue to show up as my aspirational self, and I want you to do the same thing. Regardless of the slings and arrows that you may have to fight off, it's okay. We are in a spiritual battle here, everybody. We're not fighting against flesh and bone, but of the higher spirits in the heavenly realms that are out to come after us because we're going forth with faith. I don't know how I got there, but hey, just put on the full armor of God and we can go forward. And God wants us to be successful and prosperous, and He wants us to live a life more abundantly. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for checking in this morning. I wanted to go live with you. I wanted to be raw and real. I felt it. I was, ingesting, consuming some positive aspirational stuff. And that was kind of the key word that stuck with me. Show up as your aspirational self, right? Because if you're aspirational, you're thinking forward, you're thinking future self, becoming more. You have a target in the future, right? If we're worried about the future, we have anxiety. If we are anticipating greatness, then hey, we are aspirational. And it's an exciting place to be. If we're depressed, we're ruminating on the past. And if we're thriving and driving, we're sitting right here in the present moment. But being aspirational is important. Looking forward. We are jet fueling to the future. Our future self is what we want to be doing. And we're in a jet going forward. You've never seen a jet with a rear view mirror. No, always forward. The faster we go, we are going to feel pressure, and that pressure is going to make us rise. Right? Absolutely, everybody. All right, and I gotta thank all of the slime throwers this morning. I got some slime throwers that threw slime on me. I love it because I know that's important to learn how to continue on regardless of the arrows and the slings and the fights and the punches that are coming. We can survive it and thrive it, everybody. All right, thanks for checking in. You're in the right place. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'm an aspirational person. If you are too, then you're connecting in the right place. I'm glad you're here. I want to keep connecting with you. I will keep providing good content. As I learn things, I will continue to share them. All right, everybody.